Today we're going to be speaking with Will O'Brien, formerly from the band Deserters.
So what's happening?
What I have today is a conversation with a good friend of mine, Will O'Brien. He was in a band called Deserters, which was on Mediascare Records out of LA, Hollywood area. Will's from the Coachella Valley. So is Matt Rowell, the singer of Deserters. They're both from the Coachella Valley, which is where I'm from. Currently, I reside in Tennessee, near Nashville, but I grew up in the Coachella Valley my entire life, and I grew up with Will and Matt going to shows. The Coachella Valley is known for desert rock, if you will. Unita, Caius, Queens of the Stone Age, all from the same area that we grew up, the Coachella Valley. But one band that you don't hear about, for whatever reason, too often at least, is Deserters. Will and Matt, so they lived in the desert, grew up in the desert, and they started a band in LA, Los Angeles. So two desert guys moved to LA, started a band, and the band did really well, at least in the hardcore and the metal scene, when they signed to a couple different labels, which you'll hear about in this interview. I find it important to bring attention to artists that came from the desert and were successful in music and that are my friends. Deserters did exceptionally well in the underground hardcore metal scene while they lasted. The Coachella Valley used to be a thriving music scene. We used to have bands come out every weekend. It was awesome. We would have Suicide Silence one weekend, Impending Doom the next, Winds of Plague, A Day to Remember, so many bands. And those were our glory days, if you will. But out of all that emerged a lot of talented people that I call friends. Some of those people I'm discussing here today in this interview, or conversation we'll call it, with Will. Funny story, I was actually in Deserters for a hot minute as a hired gun. I played their debut show where they were showcasing themselves to Mediascare Records. We played some venue in Hollywood somewhere, I don't even know the name. We got to open up for The Ghost Inside, Betrayal, Bermuda, Volumes. It was a great night. Awesome show, sold out. One of the best shows I've ever played, and I want to thank Will for that, for letting me be a part of that. That was awesome. I actually record his new band, Nihilistic Nature, which you can check out. I'll put the music on my YouTube channel, so you can check out his band, Nihilistic Nature. Really good. Mixed and mastered that for them and also recorded it. And you'll hear what Will's up to now after Deserters. He's got a lot of different things going on. All right, I'm going to shut up. Enjoy. We'll see ya. Thank you.
Every second trust you don't remember, every thought you don't believe. Waking up every single fucking day, hoping you're anyone one night. With this gonna break, you're under the weight of who you're trying so hard to be. It's the lies, and it's the truth, it's the mess, it's what I do.
I almost said thoughts of a nihilist. All right. So, anyways, thanks for being here today. Welcome to Critical Art Audio. Tonight we got Will O'Brien, formerly of Deserters, currently of Nihilistic Nature, and you have some other projects that you're currently working on, which we'll get into here as we move forward in the interview, or conversation, I guess is a better word for it. So thanks for being here, Will. I appreciate it, man.
Of course, dude.
So how's it been? We haven't seen each other in what, year and a half?
Yeah, because you did, dude.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. I mean, the last time. What's
I'm
that?
gonna go to Nashville, the best place in the world. I'm like, cool, man. Yeah, I get it. No, yeah, it's been a while. Things are good.
Good.
You know, bought a house at the beginning of 21 and working, selling beer, and wife's got everything's good. Health is good, you know,
Awesome.
as far as I know. I mean, for me at least.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I consider healthy and what you obviously consider healthy, two different things. But
yeah.
well,
Eh,
no, man.
no. So just a little context for people who are watching this. Will and I go pretty far back. I think you and I met when
This
we
is
were 17, 18 years old is the first time we met each other.
something like that. Yeah.
In some time. I remember, I think the first time I actually met you, I was working at Musicians Outlet in Palm Desert, and you rolled up in your silver VW.
Oh, the
Yeah. Remember
fucking
that, dude?
bear flying out the window, dude. Just yeah.
That was an awesome car. It was pretty clean looking.
Yeah, it was a nice car. I had that, and I had an old International Scout too.
Huh.
But
During that same time period or after?
yeah, I had 2 cars, dude.
Wow.
Just a shithead metal guy. Just yeah, it was terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, but you're always like a mysterious dude. I just remember like you had that long hair and you just shredded on the guitar. I was like, who the hell is this guy? And like, where did he come from? Because you obviously, back then there was a pretty decent music scene in the Coachella Valley and Palm Desert for those that don't know, Southern California area. You were more a metalhead rather than a hardcore kid. We wouldn't see you.
Always.
Yeah, yeah, and you still are to this day. But ever since being in Deserters, I think you kind of maybe leaned heavier towards maybe embraced the hardcore scene a little more. What do you think?
No, well, it's funny because I used to go to those shows, like
Yeah,
my long hair and leather jacket, just shit faced out of my mind. I go to these shows and I see like Eli and all those little dudes from the scene. I'm
yeah,
like, look at these dorks. I'm like, I bet you they were scene kids before this. And
oh yeah,
sure enough, dude,
oh
all of
yeah,
them were all of those guys at this, which is fine. Hey, it's okay. I know there's that new fest coming out. But no, like I remember thinking it was kind of silly, but I'm like, oh, this hardcore thing. I didn't even realize, but I was already kind of listening to hardcore growing up. Like Earth Crisis was a big band for me. And like, I think it was 98, dude. Like I was like 12 listening to Earth Crisis.
yeah.
Hatebreed. At the time, they only had, what is it, Under the Knife and Satisfaction. Those are the 2 records. And I had that. And I was like, this is like Crowbar, but faster.
Yeah.
That was like my thought process as a kid. So I've always appreciated like metallic hardcore. I've never been like an agnostic front guy or that style. Or I like some Terror, I like some Admiral, but I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I've always been a metal kid. Like that's my jam. And that was the whole thing with Matt and I when we started Deserters. It was like, let's make like a hardcore driven metal band.
Yeah.
Their songs aren't structured like hardcore songs. They're structured like weird metal songs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then they just have a fucking breakdown every now and then. Or
Right.
like,
Right.
But so that was like, I just remember going to those shows, dude, and cracking up. And, they were violent shows.
Oh yeah.
But it's like I knew the guys, and I'm like, out of like 30 of these dudes, like 3 of them can fight.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
you're gonna need those dog tags. You know what I mean? Like
right.
all your dog tags lined up to handle what this dumb metalhead might bring you. But yeah, no, I remember meeting you. I was like, damn, look at that handsome dude behind the counter at Musicians Outlet, bro. Like, look at those dimples.
Yeah. Dude, that feels like another lifetime ago. It's crazy.
Yeah, you and Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony. That's right. He was the manager.
You gotta have on this. That'd be fun. You should have him on there. Dude.
Oh, I think I'm gonna have him on next for sure. I got to do that. I mean, he's got a good history and he's done a lot like yourself. So absolutely.
Yeah, Every Man for Himself, Blood Stand Still, MDK.
I forgot about Every Man for Himself. That's right.
Yeah, and then he basically wrote most of. I'm not mistaken, because I'm sure my band with Anthony, we played a few songs, but most of that first MDK record, Anthony wrote like
Murder, Death, Kill. For those who are not familiar with that acronym,
Up With Us and Find Out, dude.
That's right. And were they on Mediascare as well? They were, right?
Yeah, they were.
Okay. So with that, I guess we'll jump into kind of the bands that you've been in, and probably the most notable one as of now would be Deserters, which was formerly on Mediascare towards the end, right? You guys started on Rite of Passage, I think.
Yeah, Rite of Passage, and then Mediascare after. So we did Fail Yourself on Rite of Passage, and then we got bumped up, which was the exact same situation, just with a different name on it. It was pretty. I'm like, dude, his blood runs black. They're sick.
Well, yeah, I mean, kind of jumping into it now further. I mean, you guys essentially signed with Rite of Passage in 2011 with Fail Yourself, your guys' first EP, Deserters, right around that time, right?
Right.
So that's when I was playing as a card gun with you guys, and we got to play. We opened for a bunch of bands. Who was that? The Ghost Inside, Volumes. Was Betrayal on that show?
Betrayal was on that show. I think No Bragging Rights played.
Yeah, that was a good time, man.
Wait, who is it? It was
So it was Volumes. It was Betrayal, the Ghost Inside headline, Bermuda.
Yeah, it was us. It was our first show ever. It was us, and thank you again for filling in and playing guitar at that show.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, he was in Deserters for like 10 seconds, but wanted to be a firefighter or some shit. Anyways,
Yeah.
no, it was us, Moreau, Bermuda. And I think it was No Bragging Rights, then Ghost Inside. I think that's
Man. That was a memorable night. I know it was a showcase show for you guys for Mediascare, and they had the owner of Mediascare sitting on side stage, and we did a cover that night too. I think it was a Slipknot song, right?
No, we did Bury Your Dead.
Oh, Bury Your Dead. That's right.
It was a Magnolia. It was bum bum bada bum bada bum bada bum
Yeah.
bada bum. Like whatever that's. I can't remember the name right now.
I can't either, but that's right.
That band was so sick. I know they still do stuff, but like those first two records for me, or not. I think they had a record before that, didn't they? Before Cover Your Tracks.
I couldn't tell you off my top of my head.
Cover Your Tracks and Beauty and the Breakdown, like.
Yeah,
like all the bands that inspired, like Acacia Strain, Muir, like Recon. Like without those Bury Your Dead records, at least the first one, you wouldn't have had. I don't think they may have been around at the time, but it didn't sound like that.
Yeah, especially that kick, man. That trigger they had on that kick, it was like, oh, it was something different.
People bitch about that record, like the mix.
I love it.
Because it's kind of weird. You know, it is a weird mix. It's like it's like hardcore's Life is Peachy from Korn.
Yeah.
It's like the same kind of weird, thin, but awesome in a like super raw way. And the guitars, like it sounds like the strings are like riding every fret on the, you know what I mean? Like just something about it, dude. I've always loved it. And
yeah, same here.
I still listen to that record. Like
that's a banger, big time banger. I love it. And that's funny. I listened like Magnolia. Was Magnolia on that? That was Magnolia, right? Oh my gosh. That was amazing. Loved it. But with that, so after you guys' showcase for Mediascare, you essentially, you know, as we all know now, you guys got signed by him. Was that shortly after that show?
No, it actually happened. It's funny how it works. So I made a point because I knew Baron. I made a point not to really tell him that I was like, he thought I was just like, oh, you're just some desert rat playing fucking hair metal or something. I'm like, no, dude, like my shit's okay. And then we recorded with Taylor Volts, who was a producer for a long time. He was in Moreau. He was the singer of Moreau.
Yes, right.
And I was like, hey, can I pay you to record some stupid song ideas I had? I didn't have a band. It was just me. So Ian Karabi, who's Motley Crue's ex-singer, John Karabi's kid, killer drummer. He played drums on the 4 songs we did. And then I did all the guitars and bass. And then Matt, I was like, you're a fucking psychopath. I mean, you know Matt, dude. You know what I'm talking about. I'm like, dude, you're like a sociopath, for real. And you have these crazy ideas. Why don't you sing on this? It's like, I've never sang. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, whatever. Just show up.
Yeah.
And little did I know, like, we finished. We had like a rough mix. Sounded like crap. You know, it was just the levels being audible, basically.
Yeah.
And I get a CD and I'm walking in my car like, woo, this is fun, you know? And then Baron calls me, come to my house.
And so, for those who don't know, Baron owned Mediascare Records.
Yeah, sorry. Baron Bodner owns Mediascare.
Yes.
Little did I know is like Taylor is telling him like, hey, you should check this thing out that Will's doing. So we leave, we go to his house. Baron listens to it in his car, which he always did before he signed bands. Always put the CD in the car, cranked it up like way too loud. And I'm deaf, dude. It was so loud. But, we're in his Prius, cranked, and then he goes, I want to listen to it one more time. I'm like, all right. Does it. And then he turns around and he goes, you guys want to do this or what? It was like that. And I'm like, I don't even have a band, dude. Like, I got to go to work tomorrow at 7. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't move to LA to like be that guy. I just it just happened. And then he was like, we'll figure that out later. And that's what we did. And yeah, it was weird. It was
Happened
weird.
quick, basically. So after that show is kind of when that all fell into place. And then, so when you guys were recording with Taylor, were you recording what came to be Fail Yourself EP?
Yeah, so I had 7 songs, and Bear was like, I like these 4. Let's release these 4. I'm like, oh, I got a couple more. So we recorded the other 3, and then Baron said, this one sounds too much like Ghost Inside. I was like, who the fuck is Ghost Inside? Like, I was like, I told the guys, like, I'm not like a Ghost Inside. They're friends or whatever. I love them. They're great guys. Cool music. But I'm not from that scene. So I'm like, unless it's some bullshit Scandinavian, like, black metal band, I'm probably not going to know who they are.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, so, fuck, what was I talking about?
So we're talking
about, leave this in. I want this in.
We'll leave it.
The brain parts of Will O'Brien.
You had additional songs. One of them sounded like Ghost Inside.
And it sucks because I can't find the song.
Oh,
I lost it. And I know someone has it somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's a cool song. I liked it.
So were you recording those on 6 strings back then, or were you playing 7s on that EP?
I used the tank, the Carvin.
Okay. And that was a 6 string?
6 string, yeah. It's got a Floyd on it, EMG 85.
Yep.
And it's a drop A.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So then once you guys recorded the EP, Rite of Passage, put it out, did you guys hit the road and start touring it, or what was that like?
Fucking terrible. Like every band, they're like, oh, dude, it's gonna be sick. No, it's not. It sucks. Yeah. You show up at the venue with 3. If you're lucky, they have catering, which is hot and sweaties, right?
Yep.
And yeah, it sucks ass. But playing's fun. And we were god awful, dude. Jesus Christ. Like the first couple tours, fuck, dude. Like I think it was our second tour. We hired a kid to play drums for us. We show up to his house. He can't get through Broken Knuckles. He can't even get through like the easiest song in the set. Man. And he's in a hardcore band. I don't want to be the guy, but I was like, okay, check it out, dude. You're going on tour with us, and I'm gonna use your drums, and I'm gonna play drums tonight. We had a show that fucking night.
Wow.
In Stockton. And I was like, I haven't been playing drums, but we can't cancel the tour. It was us and Havenside.
Okay.
And it's full domination.
Nice.
But yeah, so literally, like, we're on stage that night, and I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I hadn't played in forever. And yeah, I made the kid come on tour with us, and he fucking set up his drums. I didn't have drums. He set up his drums every night for me to play.
Wow.
It was awful. Like, we did those first couple tours. If you saw us then, I'm sorry. It is what it is, dude. Like, the show must go on. And
right.
But
who was playing guitar if you were playing drums? Who did you guys have? Was Cheese already in the band at that time? Okay.
Cheese was playing bass at the time. So he had like 10 minutes to learn all the chords.
Wow.
He knew the bass lines. But I'm like, hey, like, I can do this.
Huh.
And that's how that went. But it was fucked up, dude. It was so bad.
Well, you guys got through it.
Yeah, we got through it. People were appreciative. Like Matt would say, hey, guys, like, we don't have a fucking drummer. Like, our guitar player is playing drums. And, people were like, oh, my network's unstable. Are we good? Are we good?
Let me check.
Yeah. Wow. That was actually, I remember that tour was the first time I saw Kublai Khan.
Okay. So you guys were playing shows with them at that time, or what was that?
Well, they were like a local band, kind of like they were pretty young. And we played Salinas, Kansas at like this outdoor thing.
Huh.
And this little Filipino looking dude comes up and he's like, hey man, how you doing? Like, I'm Matt. I'm like, what's up? And he's like, hey, I think y'all are cool. And like, I think my band would do good with you. And like, you should watch us. I'm like, for sure, man. So they started playing and I look over at Matt right away. Kublai Khan, even back then, when they start playing, you're like, God damn, like they know there's just a groove that they have that no one else can handle.
Yep.
I just remember being like, fuck, this is like Korn, but hard.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. Like, I had like a Limp Bizkit. It was weird. It was like super new metal. And I'm a new metal kid. So I'm like, fuck, this is dope.
Yeah.
But then, we took them out on one of their first tours later. But Yeah, I'll never forget that. It's like, hey, here's our CD, and I'm like, you have a Southern accent, dude? Like, what? I wasn't expecting that. Because he's like, now he's like, fucking. I saw him the other day. I'm like, dude, you're like a cowboy.
Really?
Yeah, he's got the
Are
whole
they
thing.
still based out of? They're based out of Texas, right?
Yeah, like Texoma, like right on the border.
Okay. Yep. I know exactly where that's at.
Sherman, Texas, I think is the town they're from. But
So when you guys, okay, so you hit the road right after Fail Yourself, and then you guys start to pick up momentum, and then shortly after that, you guys release the Slow Rhythms of a Deadbeat. That was in what, 2012 ish?
yeah,
And what was that like? That experience? Where'd you guys record that? And
well, we did that with Zach Owen up in. He was working, and I was at Shark Pride, I think. He was up at Castle Ultimate in Oakland.
okay,
Which was interesting because it was like right next to Skid Row in Oakland.
huh?
Not the kind of place you want to hang out at, right?
Yeah.
And I just remember, dude, I'll tell you one thing. With Deserters, nothing was ever easy. It was always like, hey, we need to get to the show, but it's a fucking 14-hour drive. Or, hey, we need to leave to get to the studio tomorrow morning, and we leave at 3 a.m. because we had car trouble. To drive all the way to Oakland and start at 11.
Wow.
Right? Like that's kind of how it was. So at first it was pretty rough. Again, we didn't have a drummer, so we hired Ian Karabi again. He drove up with us. That dude's such a badass. He had the headphones on, listening to the pre-pro tracks I'd made. And by the time we got to the studio, he sat down, mics, levels, set everything. He played the whole fucking album.
Wow.
Like I would sit in the room with him and like kind of jam with him, air drums, you know?
Yeah.
If he had a question, I would tell him, you know, because again, I play, so I kind of can communicate with it.
Right.
And then, but dude, I like him and Jake, our later drummer Jake. Those are two guys that like, you just say what you're thinking. They go, oh, you mean like this? You know, it's like, oh my God, yeah, that's better than what I was trying to do.
Yeah. So Ian, who's Ian? Was he in a band as well?
Ian, right now, he was with Tantric. He was playing drums for them.
Oh wow, I haven't heard that name in years.
Breakdown.
Right. The guitar player played that weird looking guitar with the crazy headstock.
Right.
Remember those?
Now I think he's in Rehab. Remember that band?
Yes. Huh. So Tantric is still a band.
Apparently. Or
Wow.
Sullivan. Either
Okay.
or. Sorry, Ian. We're watching. I don't give a fuck about Tantric. How about that?
Well, I just remember there was a show on HBO, and I think it was called HBO After Hours or something like that. And they used to have live bands play on it, and Tantric was one of them. I remember like Linkin Park was on there, like all these cool bands.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool, man. So I just remember Tantric. I'll never forget that they're on that show. All right, man.
Yeah.
So, all right. So,
sorry. Go ahead.
at what point did you guys find Jake to be your drummer?
It's actually pretty funny. How do we find Jake? Oh, okay. So, you know JD.
Uh-huh.
You know he plays guitar for Anita Strauss now.
Does he really? So JD, what's JD's last name? He's from the desert as well, right?
Yeah, Hatred Reborn, baby.
He's playing for Nina Strauss.
Yeah.
Wow.
Strauss.
He's
Probably have to edit my reaction out, but
is he actually part of her band?
yeah, her live band at least.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's on tour right now. He sent me a video. He's like, dude, David Draymond. Like, I'm like, all right, whatever. Anyways.
Oh, that's right. They have that #1. She was the first female artist to have like a #1 rock hit or something. I don't remember exactly what the title they gave her, but it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that she went from As Blood Runs Black to where she's at now is pretty incredible.
Pretty well. Yeah.
Cool
journey. I've never met her. Everybody I know that's met her says she's really nice. And
yeah.
I mean, to put up with JD, you got to be pretty cool, you know?
But he shreds. He's a shredder.
Yeah, no, monster stuff. Bro, yeah. He's like a wind up. We used to always make fun. We'd be like, you see his hand just go like this, man. It'd be like, it's like a wind up, like, anyways. So, I reached out to JD's old bass player, and he's like, I was like, hey, do you have any drummers in LA that might, be good? And he's like, I got this guy, Jake, he's up in Chico.
Huh.
And I was like, all right. So he gave me his Facebook, and I hit him up, and I'm like, damn, this guy's handsome as shit. Like, cool. Like, I like it. Jake's got that chiseled jawline, he's just a babe.
Yeah.
And I'm married, guys, right? So chill. But anyways, yeah, and literally I was like, hey, can you send me videos of you playing like 4 songs? I sent him the song. They're all kind of far apart, like as far as stylistically, like how intense they were or whatever. I want to see him play slow. I want to see him play fast, because usually you have a guy that can do one or the other. It's hard to find a guy that can really sink into a pocket and like a quarter time feel, or blast, or do something super aggressive. So he sent him like the next day. I had 4 videos. He'd never heard our band. Was completely unfamiliar with the songs. Wow. And you know how those songs were. There's like the BPM changes like every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Like they're weird. I don't know what I was thinking back then. I don't know what I think now either. But either way, he came with heaters, dude. Like more aggressive sounding than the record. And I was like, damn, all right, dude. Channing Tatum is killing it.
Shredding on the drums. Yeah.
I was like, I always tell people, like, Jake looks like Channing Tatum if you work construction and drink beer. He's the only guy that I think dimples might rival yours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've actually never met the guy, man.
Oh, you'd love him. He's great. He's awesome.
One day.
Yeah. Well, we're working on shit now, so I'll probably bring him around. You probably have to record him one day.
Yeah, man. Down. Come out to Tennessee, or I'll come out there.
We'll come out. I'll make him pay for it. Got that construction money, dude.
There you go. Got to come out to Nashville. I'm 40 minutes away from them, south of Nashville, so pretty close.
Yeah, where are you at now?
I'm in Columbia, so I'm just below Nashville, about 40 minutes south.
How far are you from Antioch?
Antioch's basically East Tennessee, I believe. So it's about 45 minutes.
Yeah, I lived there for a couple months.
Did you win?
Before I lived with Justin.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah, my mom lived out there. My brother lived out there. So
yeah, that's where the Nashville Zoo is, in that area. So that's the only reason we head out that way for really anything. So yeah, it's not too bad, man. It's a pretty easy drive. So with Jake in the band, what was the first record he recorded on?
Try to Feel, that EP.
Okay.
Which it sucked for him because we
did
slow one. Huh?
It was your last EP, your last release, right? As Deserters.
But what's funny is Slow Rhythms comes out. Jake's in the band already. And he's like, everyone's like, dude, we got the album. This is great. And he's like, fuck, dude, like, can I go back and like re-record? I'm like, no, we're not going to pay for you to go re-record. He's like, well, come on, man. I'm like, no. And Baron's like, are you fucking kidding me? And but it was hilarious because we had to support that record, right? And he had and it wasn't even his record, but he had to be in the band. And I always felt bad for him. I'm like, dude, you play that fill a little weird. Can you do it more like the record?
Dang. Yeah, I know. We've all been in that situation, I think, well, at least once, being in a band where you didn't record on it, but you're playing in it. It's just weird. The connection's not there, almost like that intimate connection with the music. It's weird. But man, that's hilarious. All right. So now that we've already moved on to it, so the Try to Feel EP, where'd you guys record that at?
We recorded that in North Hollywood with Kyle Black.
Oh, really? Okay.
You know Kyle?
Yeah, I know his work. Yeah, absolutely. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. I thought, okay, nice. So where was that?
Okay, because think about the bands he normally does.
Yeah.
And think of us there.
I know.
Like, he's like emo, like poppy punk, like pop punk kind of stuff, or a little bit of hardcore, like he did that off on Omega record. He's done like Newfound Glory stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we're in a studio, and he's like, I remember we played him all the pre-pro, which basically was Try to Feel. Like it was pretty close, at least musically. And he listened to the whole thing, and he goes, I'll never forget this, dude. He goes, what if I told you I don't hear anything?
Huh.
And I was like, I tell you, we're with the wrong guy.
Yeah.
So do you want out? Like I gave him an option. Like, do you want to just cancel this and I'll fucking move on? It's fine. And he was like, it's so like Bear.
Huh.
And I was like, here, look this song up. And I told him to type in Pantera Walk. We're not saying we're even close to that stratosphere, but the simplicity of it, you know, guitars, bass, drums, vocals, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
He didn't even know Walk, dude.
Wow.
He didn't know that song. He's like, dude, this is so stripped down. I'm like, where have you been?
Wow.
So, anyways, we ended up figuring it out, and great guys. We hung out a bunch. I went out to bars and stuff, and super sweet dude. I haven't talked to him since. I'm sure he doesn't miss me.
Well, that EP came out awesome. I mean, it sounds so good.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
Got that energy, and
I think I don't know. He had this piece of rack gear, and I've never seen it since or before. And he had us line our guitar mics through there.
huh?
And it, you know, Cheese and I are playing two different guitars and two different amps with active or passive pickup. And the guitars sound identical.
Yeah.
Claims he didn't reamp it, which I was like, it's fine, just tell me. So
Yeah.
what did you use? So I know for me.
Right.
Never told me. But like my Mesa sounded like dog shit through there. My Mark III sounded like crap.
Huh.
And I'm like, that's weird. It sounds awesome right here.
Yeah.
But once you go through that guy, it sounds like crap. So I ended up using a Wagner Uberschall.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It was cool. Yeah, I was fine with it, but
yeah.
You know, I would have liked to use she's got to use his fucking JCM 900. I'm like, that sucks. He gets to use his. I'm gonna use this thing. You know? But,
and your bass player, we haven't mentioned yet, Patrick, right?
Yeah, Patty. Yeah.
Did he record on those as well, on those albums?
Yeah, he recorded bass on 4 songs on that. I played the other 2.
Okay. And he's still jamming, I think, to this day, right?
It's called Invent, I think, or some shit. Sorry, Pat. I don't know. But it's like they just toured with DRI.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
Legit so I guess he commutes, but yeah, good old Patty looking like Cheese did 10 years ago.
Yeah, I saw that. He was a cool dude. When we hung out that one time in Carlsbad, that was a good time.
Where?
Remember you guys came up and stayed with me in Carlsbad, stayed in my apartment?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Whatever happened, I'm sorry.
It's been what? Gosh, that's been 9 years ago, roughly. It's been a while, man.
We're still good, baby.
Yeah, that was good times. All right. So Try to Feel was 2013, 2014, the release year.
Yeah.
And then after that, you guys, I mean, you toured it a little bit, right? The CD?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually we toured we toured when it came out. We did our last tour, which, dude, my favorite lineup that we ever did. It was Seeker, because they were still new. You know, Seeker were on, I think, Victory.
Yep.
It was Seeker's tour. Then it was Kublai Khan. Then it was us and Last 10 Seconds Alive.
Wow.
Dude, and I'll be honest, like, the Kublai Khan boys, I love them. There were a few shows where we were like, fuck this, you're playing after us. Because they had such a huge presence in the Midwest and in the South. There was like, kids were already on it. Like, they knew what was coming. This shit's so accessible. And like, they were like a fine tuned, like well-oiled machine, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we're like, fuck this. You guys, you can have our guarantee tonight. Like, you guys do your set.
Yeah.
Because like all that means is that we get to play less, which is cool.
Yeah.
Which we're famous for having like 20-minute sets. Like, we do like a head co-line and be like 20 minutes. Like, see ya. We're at the bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt's like, oh, just leave them one more or whatever. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, look at Kublai Khan now and Last Time.
No, man, it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah,
well, I mean, I think that record, you know, they did with Will Putney. Gosh, that record sounded so mean. I loved it, and I can't recall the name of it.
Balancing Survival and Happiness, I think that one.
Yeah. I think they've only done one with Will Putney.
One that has eyes up on it. Bum, 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 bum,
Yeah.
bum, 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 yeah. Shut it off.
Yeah, so heavy. I love it. Love it. That one bumps in my truck still. So
Oh,
love it.
it's cool. It's such a weird mix because I know it was tracked weird, and I know that they had a producer that they worked with for like their early demos and like their first album they released,
Hmm.
and he had like a kind of teach yourself kind of approach to recording. So then they gave like if you think about the mix on that record, it's like super bass heavy. It's like overwhelming in a lot of ways, but cool, right?
Yeah, it's
And
weird because it fits.
that's Will Putney's mix.
Yeah,
It's like you know the kind of mix that that guy can do,
right.
and that's how he salvaged whatever tracks were done. Like, dude, I remember I was so pissed. So speaking of, there's a link there. So the song "The Feeling" on "Try to Feel" from Deserters.
Mm-hmm.
I have a verse in that song, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first verse is Matt, then I have a verse, and then Storm, the original singer of Last 10, has a verse.
Hmm.
So my verse was supposed to be Matt Honeycutt from
Oh,
Kublai
okay.
Khan. We had it all set up. They were in the studio making that first record. We were like, "Oh, we're here too, man. Like, you're doing vocals perfect." It's like, "Hey, man, I blew my voice out. I can't fucking talk, let alone scream into a microphone, whatever." I'm like, "Cool, fuck you." And then I remember Pat and I got into an argument. He was like, so I think maybe I should sing verse." That's how he talks for everybody watching. And I was like, "Nah, dude, I'm doing it. Like, get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, it
That's why.
sounds good though, man. That your three vocals, different dudes on there, man. It's freaking hits.
That's
That's
why. Yeah, Matt's like, "Well, do you have anything?" I'm like, "I don't know. I gotta take a shit." And I just wrote it real quick while I was doing that, and then I came back. I'm like, "Woo!"
yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you're in pain? Of course you're in pain. Well, you're always in fucking pain." I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah, I remember that. Your back was always hurt.
Dude,
Yeah.
you were around me when I was on the cane. Dude.
Oh, dude, yeah. I remember. Oh yeah. Yep, definitely. I've seen it firsthand. So, all right. So after that EP comes out, you guys toured it for a bit and then just kind of disappeared, went on a hiatus, if you will. And then you put out a statement to, what was it, Lambgoat?
Yeah.
So you want to kind of explain what happened with the band and why it went on the hiatus and eventually just kind of, I guess you broke up essentially.
It was a lot. It was a lot of things. Playing heavy music as a career is a young man's game because you kind of have to be selfless, like, or not selfless, excuse me, selfish. Like, you need to be able to be like, it's all about me and what I have going on. And I can't have a real job. I can't have an apartment. I can't have a girlfriend. I can't hang out with my family because you need to be available at all times. And you're on the road for a good amount of time. And when you're not on the road, you're like trying to get a record together. Especially like my position in that band, it was, I wrote most of the music and I worked with Matt on everything and I was there every second, right? So it's like, it really takes a lot of like focus and energy to get that done.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, so it was like, that was the big factor. I'm like, dude, I think when we stopped, I was 26 or 27. I'm like, dude, it's hard to crash on a couch when you're that age. And it's like, and I'm a smart guy, like I'm capable. I can have a good job. I'm a great employee. I'm like, I'm not making any money. I never made $1 off Deserters, dude. For the record. Not 1 cent other than maybe a McDouble. That's true. Right? Yeah. Not that that was a cash cow at all. That band was fucking nothing in the grand scheme of the world of music. We're a skid mark. But it just got to a point where it's like, I'm tired of sleeping on couches. And when you have a band like Deserters, you have, Pat, God bless you, Pat, love you. You normally have 1 to 2 like strong personalities, right? You've been in bands, and you're one of the strong personalities always. So it's like you have a guy that has a vision, he's motivated, he's going to get things done. That's you. Now maybe it's the singer that has that kind of vibe too. That's like, I'm the fucking front man, right? So 2 guys, you guys can figure it out. Like you can work together and come to a compromise, whatever. In Deserters, we had 4 huge personalities. that were all very different with different opinions. You know, Matt, anybody that's met Matt can tell you, he walks in a room, everybody looks at him. He's that guy. There's just something charismatic about him.
Right.
Me, I'm very serious. I look like an asshole, and I can be. But I'm also a sweetheart, dude. You know me. When have I ever been to you? You know what I mean?
Right.
I just have a way of talking that most people don't like. It's okay. I don't like me either, for the record. And then you have Tease, who's a fucking maniac. And you have Jake, Channing Tatum, just swinging his big ass jawline around everywhere. Handsome as shit and like bossing me around. That's for you, Jake. I hope you watch this shit. So yeah, it was a combination of those things. And then we had some issues with the tour. We got offered a tour and it was like, really? We always said yes. We always came back with a fat envelope for the boss people. You know, we never skipped out on anything. We bought our merch outright before tour. Like we didn't have a tab. Like we were on top of everything. And then we get offered a tour after waiting 3 months after an EP comes out. We're paying people to do this shit for us. And then we get an offer that was a joke. And I'm not gonna say what bands were on it, but it was just like, okay, I see what's going on. Like I see what you guys think of what we do, and that we're not worth the time and energy to like really get us on something. And I know there were opportunities that we missed because of who we were associated with in the business. And without going into too much detail, the writing was just kind of on the wall. Like, do you guys want to be a band that just plays Elks Lodges forever? Like, no, man. Like, and we weren't getting along. Having, like I said, those bold personalities, it translated well on stage because Deserters was a super hateful band. That is like anger 101, especially what the band turned into later. Like those last 4 or 5 tours, that was real shit. Like that was real anger. That was real. And it was so cleansing, and I think that's people that liked us, they liked that part of it. But it also, the angrier we got with each other, the better the shows were. And that was kind of dangerous because like I remember Wyatt from Last 10 telling me that he like pulled me aside and he's like, hey, is everything cool? I was like, yeah, why? Like, what's the issue? It's like, you guys are just playing really mean. I was like, good. He's like, yeah, but like, I'm worried. Because Matt, if I bumped into Matt would shove me out of the way. Like, it was just all that the whole time. Or if the guy gets in a fight, we're like trying to fight everybody. Like, and we're not some fucking beat down man. We're not tough guys.
Right.
But it was real fucking anger. And I think it wore us out. Doing that shit every night.
Yeah.
And really feeling it, yeah, it fucks you up.
Yeah.
But it's funny, I hear a lot of bands now where I'm like, damn, I wish I could tour with that band. Like I would love to tour with that band if I was still doing that. Or like Knocked Loose, not because they're huge now, but like that shit's sick.
Yeah.
I'm like, I hear like their influence must be similar to ours. Like they just do it their way, and it's better. But like, yeah, it's funny. I talked to the guitar player from Knocked Loose not too long ago, and he's like, dude, I saw you in Kentucky in like Knoxville or not Knoxville, Chattanooga.
Okay.
Anyways, I saw you in Kentucky. I was like, dude, can I remember that show? And I was like, that was one of our worst shows ever. I was like, let me make it up to you, dude. But,
that was probably before Knocked Loose was like a big thing. I'm assuming, or was it after?
I don't even think he had an EP out then.
Wow. So he was a young dude just watching you guys tearing it up. That's pretty cool. Yeah, awesome. So when you guys announced, I think it was in 2017 is what I read, that the band was essentially broken up, you announced also that you got a new project called All But Six. So did you guys ever release that?
Yeah, that's all.
Is that that's basically you, Matt, Jake, just you three?
Just us three, yeah. I had a bunch of weird songs
Uh-huh.
And I pitched it to Matt because we were talking still back then. And I was like, hey, I have some weird songs. He's like, cool, I have some weird stuff. And so we purposely made this kind of strange, uncomfortable record.
Mm-hmm.
And we call it All But Six. It's a family tattoo on my dad's side. Like my Uncle Tom had right here, he had only one tattoo. He's like a Vietnam veteran, right? And it said All But Six. And I'd always thought that was interesting. He would never tell me. My dad was on his deathbed. I was like, okay, dude, like, when are you going to tell me what that means? And it means fuck everyone but the 6 people that carry my casket.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's kind of the O'Brien motto, right? Which is my lineage, which makes sense. Everything you're seeing here today. But so we're like, let's call it All But Six. We won't promote it. We make the record. I'm not happy with the mix. I had 2 people mix it. I wasn't happy with either one.
Mm.
And then randomly, Matt, after we all kind of just stopped talking to each other, Matt put it out
Mm.
and put it on Spotify. And he put the mix I didn't want out. Because one was mixed by Chris Wyden for Body Snatcher. And then one was mixed by, what's his name? Taylor.
Larson?
Huh?
Taylor Larson?
No, Taylor from Twitching Tongues. God damn, what's his name? Oh, Taylor Young. Sorry.
Taylor Young.
Yeah, he's the drummer of Nails, plays guitar in Twitching Tongues and God's Hate.
Okay.
He's like a hardcore producer. Great guy. I had a blast recording with him. But he was mixing it on the road, and he was on tour with Nails, I think, and I was like, it just doesn't sounds crazy. It just wasn't adding up. You know how it is, like you hear a session, you're like, man, it's not doing what it's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chris Wyden did it and the same thing, but like they were like super far apart. It's like one was like super analog sounding, but just crazy. The other one was like super compressed.
Okay.
And modern. And that's the one that got released.
Okay.
So yeah, bummer.
So you guys did the one, was it an EP or full length?
Just an EP, just 6 songs.
Okay.
Just look it up. All But Six, I think we call it
It's on Spotify.
The World, yeah, it's on Spotify. The World Ends When You're Dead is what the album's called.
Nice.
But super uncomfortable record, which is what
I liked it. I mean, I checked it out when it initially came out, and I liked it. I digged it. I thought it was pretty good. So with that, so now currently you got Nihilistic Nature. Are you still doing that, or what are you working on as far as new music?
I don't know if I want to pursue that. Nowadays I'm a dad, bro. I'm a dad, married, I work, I got shit to do around the house.
Right.
So it's like musical projects are just what that is. Like I would like to get a group of guys together in the sense that we could just hop on a bill and play a show for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I think we could do that. Like, everything in me would wish Deserters could do a random show here and there. Yeah. But, logistically, Jake's up north, Pat's in fucking Bakersfield, Cheese is in Hollywood, Matt's and I don't know where Matt is, but I would love that. Like that would be playing like a real band. That's the only band that I would like want to play live.
Yeah.
But as far as writing music, dude, it's like, how it is. You got the bug.
Yep. Absolutely.
You want to make riffs. Like it's all about riffs for me, dude.
Right.
Like I have a fucking 80s stack behind me. Because I just
yeah,
want
you
riffs.
Do.
Yeah, that's legit 80s. Well, not
and it's hungry for riffs.
It's just dying, dude. Dying for riffs. But yeah, I mean, I would love. I just like being creative, and
yeah,
I like music that I'm not hearing. It's like there's bands out there that I really love, but there's also like, my little thing, and I like to have fun and make fucking crazy pissed off shit.
And you do.
Like, yeah, well, what do I get here? I guess so. I don't know. I thought I was gonna go the other way, like, oh, live and let be. I'm like, live and let motherfucker die, son. Like, but
So with that, you're also are you still making guitars?
no, I have two. But dude, Anthony held my hand the entire way, so I can't even say that I made them. I was just like, I had the idea, I had like the design of it and the stats. Like, this is what I want. This is how we're gonna do it. These are the woods I bought. All that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you don't know shit.
Oh, typical Anthony.
So you don't know anything. I'm like, yeah, all right, okay. Like, he's like, no, you handle it like this. I'm like, yeah, I know. But Dan sitting there all like just banging on you.
I can picture it now. That's awesome.
Now he's all jiu-jitsu now, dude. He's in a fucking.
Oh, I know he's killing it.
Yeah, it's good for him, man. He looks good. He looks healthy.
He does. He's trying to get me to do it, and we'll see.
He's trying to get everybody to do it.
I know.
He said something in our group chat the other day with me and a couple other guys. No one responded. Dude, these guys are like the best fucking jiu-jitsu. Nobody responded. Like, keep that shit to yourself, dude. Yeah, I still got to punch his chance. You got to get close enough to me to do anything.
Yeah. He sends me random jiu-jitsu gyms that are nearby my house. Like, this one's really good. These guys have a good reputation and all this. So it's so funny.
I'm like, hey, who do you think's gonna win tonight? He's like, well, I don't know who's gonna win tonight, but did you see this Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym that's over in fucking Rancho Cucamonga? I'm like, no, I'm out.
It's his new passion, man. I love it. It's good.
But yeah, no, he really was instrumental.
Yeah.
But yeah, the second one I made is just killer. I play it all the time. I love that guitar.
You recorded on one of them at my house, right? Was that one of the ones you made?
No, that was I think. No, I didn't have it. I brought it, but I ended up using that old 1986 Carbon I had.
Oh, okay.
That blue one.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it was sick looking. I remember you busted out and you started riffing on it, but I couldn't remember if we used it to record or not.
No, we just used that Carbon. But no, the second one, the Tank 2.0, that thing is just love it, dude. I'll never.
Is that what you're recording your new stuff on, or what are you using?
Yeah. So new stuff's in G. So I needed, I can get away with A on a 6, but you go any lower than that, it's
tough. Oh yeah, floppy.
So that one has a nice fixed bridge on it from this dude in England. What's it called? Granger. Check him out. He makes like his own bridges. They're like a hip shot, but they look way harder. Like, instead of it being all like, everything on a hip shot looks like a cylinder, kind of like circles and kind of soft. His are like hard squares, and it's just a really well made bridge. And you don't have to do string through body either. You can do like tailpiece.
So, okay, nice.
Yeah, I didn't want to drill and all that. I'm like, fuck it, just I don't care. Yeah. Fuck sustain. I'm in D. Who cares? My breakdowns need sustain. Like, who gives a shit?
Right. That's a good point. So you're the new project that you're working on. So is that the 7-string then that you're explaining now in drop G?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. And do you guys got a name for this new project you're doing?
Will and the Ship for Brains. No, that I don't know. Yeah, I kind of like that. Will O'Brien and the Ship for Brains.
There you go. Why not?
I'm trying to get my drink refilled here. Hold up.
What are you drinking?
Hey, babe. Just fucking punch me, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, have you seen that guy from Slaughter to Prevail?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that thing you got? You like got one of those tattoos where like they cut your skin open basically and pour it with ink.
What?
Have you seen that? It's like it's a huge craze in Europe.
Wow.
Like, literally took like a knife. I don't know how to get the ink in there, but it like has this gnarly like cut, and it's like separated like that. It's
That is
gross. Dude. It
so
looks
weird.
super good.
I gotta check that out now.
Hang on 1 second. Sorry.
All
All right. Sorry, bro.
You're good, man.
Ooh. All right.
I'll edit that. So we've already gone almost an hour. That's pretty dang crazy.
Yeah, I talk a lot.
No, it's good. All right, so I'll edit us back in. You ready? What are you drinking?
Water.
I thought you were gonna say something interesting, some fancy beer, since you're kind of a connoisseur of beer these days.
I ain't a connoisseur, dude. I sell that shit. I mean, I do drink it. If it's free, I'll drink it.
Man, when you came to my house each time when we were recording, you brought all these fancy beers.
Yeah, I wanted you to be happy with me, dude.
I was very happy with them. Yes, and you.
Yeah, I get an allowance at my work, so I get like $75 free beer a month on top of like
What?
we get new stuff, you get samples, and you got to know what you're selling, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
It's important. What kind of hops are in this? I'm like, dude, fuck you, just buy it. It's overpriced. Just buy it.
Well, I mean, you're right there in the mecca of microbrews. So, I mean, is your work in San Diego, or where's it at?
Yeah. So they're in like Scripps Ranch is where our hub is.
Mm-hmm.
We have 3 of them, but mine that I report to is in that area, like Miramar, kind of by the base over there. And then we have one in LA, and then we have one in Phoenix.
Nice.
So
Sweet.
it's growing, dude. It's crazy.
So the new project, going back to that new project real quick, who's in it? Anybody from Deserters?
Jake.
So just Jake.
Yep.
Okay.
Jake Steele. Yeah, right now it's just him and I. I'm also doing something with Cheese that's more like just really, really pissed death metal.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Because he and I, like, the bands that we love are from that early era, just like ass beater. Right.
You sure that's water in that cup?
No, it's vodka.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Not straight, for the record. It's like vodka and then LaCroix. You know,
All
it's
right.
like the guilt-free. You ever do those?
No.
Oh, dude.
Sounds like a White Claw, dude.
Yeah, but it's vodka.
Yeah, well, isn't a White Claw supposedly some type of I don't know what the heck a White Claw is.
White Claw is fermented sugar.
Okay.
With carbonated water. That's all it is.
That makes sense.
Alcoholic sugar. But that has 0 sugar.
Yeah, there you go, man.
I learned about that when I did keto back in the day.
Oh, okay. All right, so we'll wrap this up. So, any chance of a Deserter reunion?
I would like to say yes.
I hope so, man.
No, dude, come on.
I hope
No one
so.
wants to hear. Nobody wants to see a bunch of fucking old dudes. Look at how much gray. Look at this, son. Look at this.
Yeah, you need a haircut, dude. You're going for that what they call the devil lock.
Yeah, dude.
All right.
I highly doubtful. I haven't talked to Matt in over 2 years.
Oh wow.
Pat is. I'm not going to say anything. Pat's Pat.
Okay.
So, dude, I would love to. You know, I have I you're going to be hearing it. There's all these songs that I've been working with you on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like sending you kind of. I want you to work on it. Is Deserters. It's literally like what I would have done had that band. Like I started thinking, I'm like, well, what does Deserters sound like? It sounds like Matt.
Yeah.
Like Matt's a huge part of that.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
And it sounds like us collectively, whatever. I don't know. But it's like my weird ass riffs with Matt.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna make a record and pretend that Matt sings on that.
Yeah.
To see, I want to see like what I come up with. Because when you have a singer like that, you have total freedom. You don't have to do just tough guy shit. You don't have to do like super vicious, brutal, whatever. You can have a big open riff.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what he's gonna do. Like I would never know what Matt did until we got into the studio. Like there was this total trust. It's like you would hear a rough, and then I'd change it by the time we're in the studio. And he go, all right, what's up, bro? Like, you know, and it was cool. It was fun. And I would love to see that happen, but fuck, dude, you know, I'll probably be dead.
I'll stay optimistic. I know I'm sure there's a lot of people out there. I mean, you say Deserters was a skid mark, but I can tell you, man, you guys made an impact, and the music's, you know, it's still hits today, man. I mean, it hasn't been that long, but I was listening to it prior to jumping on here with you, and I was like, gosh, these songs are so good. And like you said, Matt's voice is so unique. You're playing like you're one of those guitar players where you can hear the riffs, like, yep, that's Will. You know, you got your own tone, you got your own sound. So I love it, man. And I know there's a lot of people out there that also.
I really appreciate it.
So
I really do appreciate that, dude. But
well, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds.
Dude, you don't need to worry about Deserters. Fuck Deserters. There's a ton of kick-ass bands out there right now. If you haven't listened to I Am Texas, listen to that record. What is it? What the fuck is that record called?
I've never heard of
Texas Death.
I'm gonna have to check them out.
I am from Texas. The singer looks like a white version of Matt Honeycutt from Kublai Khan. Same thing, belt buckle, fucking cowboy boots, you know, white tee, the whole thing.
Nice.
By the way, I just want to say, and please make sure this gets in there. Matt Honeycutt. I remember we had a shaved head with bleached blonde hair. So fucking watch it. Okay. Yeah, check them out. I Am. Cheese turned me on to them. Yeah. Anyways, sorry, I just had to plug I Am because they're fucking dope.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
they're a metal band, but they play like, it's kind of like if Deserters were more metal, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, like more like traditional kind of heavy, like death metal kind of.
Yeah.
But then like hard.
Huh.
I don't know.
Okay.
But hey, can I tell you a funny story real quick before we end?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we're in Savannah, Georgia. First time ever playing there, and we had just started. It was the first day of a tour, and I think it was like this straight edge Christian hardcore band opening the bill.
Uh-huh.
You know, they never knew where to put us, so it was like, you're with King Conquer, or you're with fucking Bermuda, or whoever. So I can't remember the name of this band. I'm sorry, guys, if you see this, I can't remember your name. Nice kids, but they were like, whoa, because we had just finished a long tour. We looked haggard, and we show up to this new one like, you know, my beard's out to here, and we're just like savages.
Yeah.
And we were like partying hard on that previous tour. So then we show up, it's like a straight edge tour, and we're like, hey, we're Deserters, what's up? Anyways, we're playing this place. The Savannah is like, that's the Bible Belt, right? Like very religious, you know, the South, that whole area is very religious.
Yep.
And so it's them, some other band, us, and I want to say it was like Creation. Oh no, it was them, Kublai Khan, us, and Creations.
I remember Creations. They were on Mediascare, right?
They were, yeah. They were like a Christian like beatdown band.
Yeah, I remember them.
You're unforgiven. I'm like, yeah, okay, all right, dude. Just keep it to yourself. Anyway, yeah, there's no room for God and that kind of shit. I'm sorry. God's happy. God's good. Like, leave him out of this. He doesn't want to be part of this. Anyways, so we start playing. Matt's wearing a white shirt, and Matt's prone to getting nosebleeds. Okay, he's had them a ton of times. Don't know. And but he gets this one. I don't know if it was the altitude, like the humidity, but just gusher, like looked like a faucet got turned on. And I'm like, oh shit! Like I'm playing. It's the first song. I'm like, this is gonna be a long one. And he's like walking into the crowd, and I was like, oh! He's just freaking out. And he's wearing a white shirt, so it makes it worse. Pouring everywhere. He goes to me, it's all over the microphone, and he like puts it in my face. It's all over my beard, on my skin under my beard, which is really hard to clean.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we get through the first song. Everyone's mortified in the whole place, right? We're looking like I'm looking out at the merch tables, and he goes, "This is Matt, dude. This is Deserters 101 here." He goes, "Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. For those who don't know who we are Deserters. We are a Christian band, and this is the blood of Christ."
Oh, wow.
And dude, I remember looking back at the merch table and it was like,
Oh, man.
this Lord, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, like we're not gonna sell a single t-shirt. Here's a super disturbing photo. I'll try to find it and send it to you so you can put it on. But there's a
Yeah,
there's a
that'd be
picture,
awesome.
he's like smiling and he's covered in blood. And it's from that set. Yeah. That
Yeah,
was mad, dude. You know, he burned his social security card on stage. He was a fucking maniac.
Dude, I was so surprised when I found out he was singing for Deserters. I mean, we all know Matt as that kid that wore a wrestler one piece to the shows in the desert and would do flips with that other kid, and he didn't play.
He do aerials and
yeah,
dude,
I mean, they would just run
was
around with those onesies and just do somersaults and flips at all the hardcore shows, and he would sleep on the couch.
He's the only guy I've seen. He's the only guy I've seen like stage or crowd surf from running. Like he would run and go. I'm like, how did you get that high?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
He's
Or like he always talked about his bubble. He'd be like, watch this, and he would just jump right in the middle of a pit. He would get higher and higher and higher, and then he'd start doing his thing.
Yeah.
And by the time he started doing his thing, he already had a 6-foot bubble around him. But you're like, this guy has like chemical imbalances, right? And like, yeah, he does for sure. Anyways, any other question for me, big dog?
No, man, I appreciate your time. It's nice to see your face. It's been a while. So, yes, sir.